to get it done as fast as possible so it's easy to record and share and post on YouTube and everything that I know people want to do. And then we'll go over some questions on Twitter. So if you have any questions that you 100% want to make sure that I get to, post it on Twitter just go to the last tweet I made, post it under there. We'll get to it. And then when all of that's done, I'll open up the voice chat, just fully open it up, and we'll spend some time just chopping up after that. So let's just get to the piggy bank migration, the V2 pig token, and the animal farm. All right, so I want to try to cover all of those questions first because I think that's what's on everybody's mind more than anything right now. And then we'll move on to a lot of other things that we have going on. So with piggy bank, on Thursday, this Thursday coming up in 6 days, we're going to be redeploying all of the contracts, right? So piggy bank V2, pigs V2, the pigs master chef contract, right? V2, and the pig pen V2. Now, as far as what the average user or the user of these contracts, as far as the actions you need to take, it's very minimal. So if you had pigs in the pig pen, or you had pigs BUSD LP tokens in the piggy bank, as long as you did what you could to withdraw those pig tokens from the pig pen and those pig LP tokens from the piggy bank and sent them into the crediting contract that we had on our animal farm front end there. We built a dashboard for it. As long as you did that, right, to the best of your ability, because we know that in the piggy bank, for example, some people had their stakes time locked. And even if you didn't have your stakes time locked, you could still only claim so much every day due to the mechanism of the piggy bank. So we know this and we accounted for this. But as long as you withdrew what you could withdraw, given the restrictions of the contract, and sent it into the credit contract, when we go live on Thursday, when everything is unpaused, you will be credited in whatever contract you were in when we paused with either the pig BUSD LP tokens or the pig tokens, right? And I'm talking about V2. You won't have to do anything. So if you had the pig tokens in your wallet, or you had the pig BNB or BUSD LP tokens in your wallet at the time it was paused, then what you had to have done is send those into the credit contract. And when we unpause on Thursday, you will have to interact with the credit contract on our front end. It will be made very easy for you to do this, but you will just have to claim your V2 pig, right? And it will be a 1-for-1. So if you sent in 10 pigs that were in your wallet when it got paused, so you had 10 pigs in your wallet when it got paused, right? We unpaused it to allow you to send those pigs into the credit contract. You sent in 10 pigs, V1 pigs, you will be able to claim 10 V2 pigs. Now, the way LPs work is a little bit different, all right? So with LPs, there are a couple different factors which determine the actual number of LP tokens in circulation. And since this is a new token that we're launching, the LP supply, the number of LP tokens associated with the liquidity in the V2 pigs liquidity pool will be slightly different, but largely the same, because we're going in there with the same amount of pigs, the same amount of BUSD. So it will be very close, but just due to the way that liquidity pool tokens are created, there will be a slight difference. So the way that we're handling that is, if you held 10% of the LP tokens when in your wallet when the contract was paused, and when we unpause it to allow you to credit it, you sent those LP tokens in. When we unpause on Thursday, you'll be able to claim 10% of the V2 LP tokens. So because with the PIGS token itself, it's a one-to-one swap, you'll get a one-to-one swap, token for token. Because LPs work a little bit different, you're still getting a one-to-one swap as far as the percentage of the LP tokens you hold, but because there's a chance that it will be slightly different, say, when we create it, there may be 500 additional LP tokens, just due to the way that LP tokens are created when you add liquidity. All this means is, if you held 10% of the LP tokens when it was paused, you sent them in when we allowed you to interact with the credit contract, you will get 10% of the new LP tokens. So it's a one-to-one swap as far as the value goes, right? And the capital that is actually backed by those LP tokens. If you didn't, as I said, if you didn't have any tokens in your wallet at the time that we paused the PIGS contract, and they were in various contracts, that's where you will be credited when we go live. And this way, this allows for multiple benefits, right? So one of the major benefits is we're not just putting all of these tokens that were locked up or utilized in the ecosystem, and now all of a sudden they're just going to be in people's wallets where they could sell them, they could dump them, they could do whatever with them, right? We are taking the tokens, the V2 PIG tokens, and they will be in the same exact state as the V1 tokens were, as far as how they are interacting with our ecosystem as a whole. If they were locked up before, they will be locked up now. If they were staked before, they will be staked now. If they were in the holder's wallet before, they will be able to be claimed on Thursday, essentially allowing them to be in the user's wallet when we go live on Thursday. So there are a few people that I've seen that have been concerned that we'll go when we go live, people will have all of a sudden a bunch of PIG tokens in their wallet, and people will have to decide what they want to do with them from that point on. And the reality is there will be some small percentage, less than 20% of the PIG tokens in circulation in people's wallets. It's actually much less than 20%, but let's just say 20% because I know it's less than 20%. Will actually be in circulation that could affect the market. All of the rest of the PIG tokens are either locked up or staked. The vast majority of them are in the LP. Over 80%, it's something like 85% of the tokens are locked up in LP tokens in the piggy bank, right? Then there's another some large percentage that are in the Pigpen contract, staked. And the reason why they will want to remain in the Pigpen contract is because when we go live with the Pigpen contract, first of all, the time locking mechanism will be set. So if you're in there, your stake will be time locked just like it was before it was paused, right? And of course, it's a relatively short time lock, but this is mainly to ensure the security of the protocol, right? So no one can do any kind of flash loan protocol or anything like that because you have no ability to do anything in the Pigpen within one block, right? So you deposit, you can't withdraw within one block, you can't claim within one block. There's a time block there. So when we go live on the Pigpen, not only will there be a time lock, which means that no one in there will, be making any kind of rash, emotional decision there. And also, there will be a lot of additional capital in there because this whole time, while capital has been sitting on the animal farm, we've been earning yield on it through our collateral rehypothecation protocol, lending that capital out to a DEX, right? Earning cake. And this cake will be sold, and we're going to use it for a major Pigpen injection. So the Pigpen, when we go live, will have an additional couple $1 million in there as far as BUSD dividends ready to get paid out to the community. So that's huge, right? That's a major incentive for people to remain in there because they know if they remain in there, that's millions of dollars that is going to get paid to them, right? And there are a few tweaks that we were able to make just being down and, having the ability to launch the contracts, the Pigpen Mastership contract, the Pigs Mastership contract, which includes elements of the Pigpen. I try not to get super tied up in details because I know the vast majority of people want an overview, and the people that really want to dig into the code can do that. They can dig into the code, but the having the ability to relaunch the Pigs Mastership contract allows us to tweak some things, improve some things. And for one, we were not implementing the tax on dogs. So we had an adjustable tax on dogs, which, we've always spoken about. We were not implementing the whole tax that we could have on dogs, right? When we launched with a limit, right? From 6 to 10% tax that can be applied on dogs. And this tax goes to, for one, provide liquidity to dogs, but the majority of that capital associated with the tax goes into the Pigpen. So what we're going to do when we go live is adjust that tax on dogs, which for one will be a disincentive for people to sell it as soon as we go live, and for two, it will migrate even more capital into the Pigpen. So the Pigpen is something that I feel is a very important, integral part of the platform. People that are invested in it understand that this is a protocol that acts as a dividend revenue sharing model where capital that otherwise would be going to a dev fee on any other platform, right? You look at any other farm out there, the percentage that we're taking out of deposit fees would traditionally be allocated to developers. We've taken that capital and instead allocated it to the Pigpen. Now, because when you are allocating capital to developers, you want to ensure that this capital is not being used in any kind of not being used for any kind of short-term perspective, right? You want to ensure that developer capital is being utilized as a type of long-term investment, and you want them to be invested in the long-term success of the protocol. Shares this developer fee with the community, but in a way that enforces a long-term perspective on how you will manage this capital that's coming to you from these developer fees. And it does this through time-weighted dividends. What I mean by that is every day that you remain in the pig pen, your share of what you get paid out increases a little bit relative to the newer people in the pig pen. And this is made more so if you're taking the pigs that you're earning in the farm and continuing to use them to accumulate your position in the pig pen. And as the pig pen grows, and that vault that is being used to accumulate BUSD tokens grows, this is also increasing the percentage that get paid out daily. So the pig pen is for people that recognize the long-term value of a platform like this and are choosing ownership over short-term rewards, right? And I think it's a trade-off between the piggy bank and the pig pen, where the people in the piggy bank want that short-term, kind of instant gratification reward model, but we still implemented a mechanic into the piggy bank for people that have a longer time horizon to really take maximal benefit of it, and that's that time locking mechanism. So whether you're in the pig pen or the piggy bank, you're going to benefit from having a longer time horizon just based on the fundamental mechanics of the protocol. But I would say the pig pen is for people that understand that when you have a protocol like this, right, when you look at the top, the top, say, 2 or 3% of farms out there, they're still around because they brought something new to the table. They've been around for years, right? And the people who developed those protocols have made hundreds of millions of dollars in developer fees. We've taken this same earning mechanism that allows you to earn as an owner, and now through the power of DeFi, shared that with the community through the pig pen. So if you are the type of person that understands the value of being an owner of an innovative technology from the start, from the ground, and continuing to accumulate your share ownership as the protocol develops, the pig pen is for you. Right? If you also want to have some sort of shorter term play on it, the piggy bank is perfect for that. I would say it's a little bit higher risk, but it also has a higher payout and a faster payout. And I would say kind of the best of both worlds would be time locking in the piggy bank. And the power of time locking in piggy bank is something that no other protocol has offered, because it's giving you a bonus on your principal that you can then earn compound interest on for the life of the stake. And there's no other protocol that gives you that kind of earning power to be able to earn compound interest on essentially not free money, but money that is being allocated to you simply for agreeing to keep your collateral on the contract for a period of time. Right? So if you plan to take full advantage of the contract anyways, and you plan to have that capital on the contract anyways, it is essentially free capital that you're getting, that you're able to earn compound interest in. And there's no other protocol in the space that allows for this kind of mechanic. So it's huge. As I said, somewhere over 90% of the tokens, right? I know it's 82% of the tokens are of the pig tokens are locked up in LP, in piggy bank. Then there's essentially the rest of the tokens, right? Like almost all the other tokens are in the pig pen. There are very, very few pig tokens that were actually in people's wallets. So anybody that has any concerns that this is going to go live and people are going to, all of a sudden have a ton of pigs in their wallet that they're then, may panic sell or try to take a quick profit on and buy lower or whatever the case is. It's just not possible because, as I said, 82% of the tokens are locked. Then the vast majority of the rest of the tokens are in the pig pen, and the people that are in the pig pen are in the pig pen because they believe in the long term of the project and of the protocol. And I know for a fact the whales that are in there are people that are, diehard members of this community. They're people that were in REAP. They're people that were in DRIP. They were in Drip Garden. Now they're in Piggy Bank. Now they're in Pigpen. And these are people that became millionaires. The reason why they're whales is because they became millionaires in our protocols. And they understand there's no better place to put your capital. Right? So the difference between us and other projects, there's a lot of differences, but I would say the main differences are that we're always sharing any kind of developer fee with the community, right? Any cut that we get as developers always goes back to the community. We're always building as part of a larger ecosystem, which raises all ships so people know if they're invested in one of our protocols and something new comes out, it's always to the benefit of their existing investments. And they also understand that we take security and we take protecting investor capital more serious than any other protocol in the space. Right? You can look at all the major farms out there. You can look at every single one of our competitors. And they have all lost investor capital at one point through some sort of major fundamental exploit. I'm talking about every single farm out there. I'm talking about all of our competitors, right? 100% of the time. I don't know one of them. And that's why there's those memes out there with Doom Guy sitting on top of the pile of dead bodies, shooting all the the people rushing him, and it's, I'm not going to list all the other tokens that we've, buried, but that's why these memes are out there. Now, when we do have, some kind of bump in the road, because when you are doing this kind of innovative development, eventually you are going to run into some bump in the road, because you're doing things for the first time. And we do huge amount of testing. We do a huge amount of auditing. But no matter what, nothing is 100% perfect. And you will eventually run into a bump in the road. I've been doing this for a decade, essentially. I started in 2012, right? So with Bitcoin, and working with a sports book who wanted to set up a Bitcoin payment portal, right? And I've been involved ever since. And we have never had one major fundamental exploit in this decade that has resulted in the loss of investor capital. Not once. So when we do hit our bump in the road, I would say this issue with the pig token has been the biggest piece of adversity that we've ever hit. Due to the diligence that we put in to our protocol and the backups that we put in place in case something unexpected does happen, you see how that resulted. Something unexpected happened. It resulted in one user getting a large share of the piglets through sniping the contract with a bot. Now, it's very difficult to prevent this. This wasn't actually an exploit, right? This is just someone interacting with the contract in a way that we announced that if you interact with the contract in this way, you will be blacklisted, and the capital that you utilize to do this will be distributed to the community. So, you know, sniping a contract isn't an exploit, but it is a piece of adversity that we hit, right? So when we hit this piece of adversity, you see what happened. This person got more piglets than they should have, given our essentially terms of service, right? And still, our protocol worked. They were not able to withdraw more than 5x of their deposit. This was a sustainability and security protocol that we put in place for one, in case something unexpected happened, and for two, to ensure that people are not infinitely draining the system because they made one deposit on it 2 years ago and they're still draining the system. Really active in the protocol to continue to accumulate your deposits. And this can be it doesn't necessarily need to be doing more deposits. It could be continuing to compound every so often, or even doing referrals. And these referral bonuses count towards increasing your deposit, which allow you to continue to earn in the protocol. Very similar to Drift. We brought a new dev on board who did quality control for years for a major auditing company. And his job is 100% just to do quality control in our work. To be looking over our shoulder at all times, watching everything we do, auditing everything we do. Whenever we run into any kind of, I don't want to say problem, but something that we need a solution for during development, he will work on it on his own without any communication with us about it. And then we will compare our work to see if he came to the same solutions as us and why we came to those conclusions. And this is something that I believe is really going to take us to the next level, right? This is something that I don't think there's many other development teams that are doing, right? Essentially hiring a full-time auditor quality control developer. But it's something that I feel is necessary for us due to the amount of capital we're dealing with and the responsibility that I feel for this investor base, right? So, as I said, we've always done due diligence, always, which is why we've never had any kind of fundamental exploit that has lost investor capital. But we can always improve, and we are always improving. So that's what this is about. We've also adjusted the way that we set deadlines. So you guys may have noticed that I waited until 100% of the work was done, 100% of the development and testing was done to set this date. And I know a lot of people just wanted a date. They're like, come on, just tell us when it's going to launch. But for me, it's very important that we wait until 100% of the development is done, because when you are forced with a deadline and you are still doing development, what always happens is you end up saving that last thing that you're trying to figure out till the end, because you try to just handle all the low-hanging fruit first. And then you end up with the deadline right around the corner trying to solve some last-minute thing. And that's where errors happen. So we have adjusted the way that we set our deadlines. And what that means is it will not take longer for us to do development, right? We'll still be pumping out development faster than any other dev team in the space, like we've been doing. But we'll just be more accurate and more precise with our deadlines. And instead of saying that we'll be out in 2 months, we'll be out in 1 month, we'll be out in 2 weeks, we'll be out in 1 week, while we do the development, we'll say our aim is to be out in about 2 months, say, but we will give an official deadline when the work is 100% done. And we'll still get that work out just as fast as we were before, but we will not have a scenario where we feel forced to make a last-minute decision to meet a deadline, because we will wait till the work is 100% done. And that's big, right? So these are changes that needed to be made, I feel, and they were made. Now, we've been grinding for years now. So after Animal Farm was launched, my main partner, BB, right, he was starting to get a bit burnt out. So what I did was I hired an additional developer, right, not including the developer that is only doing quality control, to help kind of pick up that slack, allowing BB to have some family time, relax, do his thing. So we're coming into everything with fresh eyes. We are more excited than ever. I've been doing so much networking and so much communication with other development teams, with major platform owners, with marketers, with different VC groups, right, for securing deals and also helping to promote our deals. So I've met more connections and have had more opportunities for us open up in the past month than I ever have since we've launched any of our protocols. So between the development changes we made, between the team adjustments that we made, between the connections that I've made and the networking that we've been able to do in the past month, and then looking at our numbers, right? When I make a post, we have more opportunities than ever. I have more development ideas than ever. There are so many things I want to build. And everything that I want to build at this point does not involve creating additional tokens, right? They all involve creating new utility, new use cases, new contracts that support our existing tokens, right? And when I say this, I'm talking about bridges. I'm talking about, the scratch ticket model that is amazing that I'll talk about in a bit. I'm talking about making improvements to our decks on the Drip site, team competitions, new UI, lending protocols, various, partnerships, working with other development teams that may be creating an additional token, but this token essentially acts as a vehicle to drive capital into our existing tokens. So we are in a better place than ever. And of course, there are people out there that will not be happy, right? That we hit this bump in the road, and I would never call it a small bump in the road. Whenever you have a situation like this, right? I take it very serious, and I take full responsibility for it. And when I say I take full responsibility for it, I don't mean I beat myself up about it. I mean that we make the adjustments to improve and ensure this never happens again. We look at what we did that was good, and we look at what we could have improved on. What we did that was good, when we came into something unexpected, when we hit that bump in the road, we were able to protect investor capital. What we can improve on, first of all, we can make improvements to ensure that this never happens again. We can make improvements to ensure that if something unexpected does happen, because this is innovative technology and we are doing things for the first time, that, like always, we protect investor capital, but also we don't have to pause the protocol. We can quarantine whatever the issue is, deal with it in a way that's fast and does not affect all of the holders, right? So, and the list of other things that I've already named. I don't want to repeat myself here. 2 days ago, lots of people very bullish. Just researching how many developers are on the Drip Team project. Okay, so right now we have 2 main developers, not including myself, my partner BB, someone named Sans that we brought onto the table, and then we have an additional developer that we brought up just for quality control, who isn't actually, his focus is not at all developing the protocol. His focus is just 100% on checking work and doing quality control. So, but then, when you say the Drip project team, I don't want to just include those people, because we have guys like Bartertown, we have guys like Angel, right? We have guys like Drip Ninja, we have guys like On, we have so many people, Stonecutter, that are essential parts of the team, right? So without them, we would not be what we are. So they are 100% part of the team, right? And then when you say the Drip project, I take no developer fee out of Drip. So these people are, I would say, just as important to the project. They are essential to the project, and most of them have made more from the project. Well, certainly more than I have, and I'm sure more than BB and some of the other people. I'm not the kind of person that's watching other people's funds and seeing what they're doing with their money. Like, everybody can do whatever they want with their own money, and I watch my own money. Apart from specific agreements I have with my developers about what they're allowed to do. They're not allowed to, buy up huge amounts of the token and do swing trading or anything like that. But other than that, I'm not watching other people's funds. But I know, just because I know how much I've made off of Drip, which is very little, like less than $100,000, because I don't take a developer fee and I don't trade it either, because I feel like I have an unfair advantage having insider information, and it just wouldn't be right for me to be trading it. So I know that the majority of these people have made a lot more capital than me on Drip. So they're essential to the project. They've made more in Drip than even the core dev teams, and they've contributed so much to Drip. So the team is large, but when you talk about core developers, essentially there's 3 of us. 2 of us, me and BB, built Drip, but we've we've added to the team system and create an international payment system / card using Drip. It would take getting the service of a company such as MoonPay or another one that whose name is slipping my mind. And the fact is that some of these companies, such as the one that's slipping my mind right now, but I'm going to look it up. I'm going to take a note right now, actually, to look up the name of it because I need to check on the status of the application that I submitted to them. Some of these services are servicing tokens that are significantly smaller than us, right? Have less liquidity, less volume, less investors, and they're servicing a fiat on-ramp for them utilizing debit cards, right? So they essentially work as debit cards for those tokens. And all it takes is for one of these services to start servicing us. Now, I've already applied to one of them. I applied to this service right before we had to pause Piggy Bank, and my full attention has been on Piggy Bank and getting Pig's V2 token launched so we can continue to move forward. So I have not yet checked the status of this application, but there's a high probability that we will get approved for this application because I know that the service is servicing other projects that are much less developed than ours. Then there's MoonPay. Now, I haven't applied to MoonPay yet. The reason why I haven't applied to MoonPay yet is because I know someone who was a major private investor in MoonPay. I'm not talking about in a token or anything. I'm talking about in traditional markets. He's a major venture capitalist that funded MoonPay. And he has a lot of sway with that company. And my plan with him is to network with him and get someone behind the scenes pulling for us. So when I do submit that application, it's fast tracked for us. And this specifically, this fiat on ramp through debit and credit cards is something I was heavily focused on right before the piggy bank thing, and I completely put that on the sideline so I could hyper focus on getting piggy bank up and running. Now that 100% of the development is done with piggy bank, my full responsibility and what my resources are going to be fully allocated to are promoting Animal Farm, promoting piggy bank, promoting Drip, and networking to set up this kind of infrastructure for Drip, right? Very major progressions for Drip and for our other protocols, but specifically for Drip, before I had to put it on the sidelines to deal with piggy bank. And now, all of these opportunities are just waiting for us to pick them back up and put them back on the table. So I'm very excited to get back to that because there are some major progressions that we can make there. And I just so you know, I'm taking notes as I read these questions just to, just for my own reminders of things that I want to do as soon as I get off this call. So, okay, let me go to us for partnerships and more people ready to work with us than ever. And I think this is twofold, right? It's because other developers know the space, they understand the technology, they know what happened, and they understand what happened, right? And they understand that although it was, a big thing for the community, of course, in the big picture, when something unexpected happened, we handled it with the utmost professionalism and in a way that you won't see with any other developer team. When these other projects have something unexpected happen, they get drained. Like, they're gone. And you with us, they see our track record. They see that we have never had a fundamental issue that has lost investor capital. And when the unexpected does happen, we deal with it in a way that remedies the situation, and we make the adjustments that we need to be better than ever. So we've had more people reach out to us than ever, right? And that feels good, right? Because it's always nice to get the recognition of the community and of your peers.
Popped up on mine real quick.
Yep.
You heard me, Forex?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, Forex, check this out real quick. This is a good one. As a shared owner of the animal farm, until now, we have not seen any proposals coming by to vote for in the pig pen. So are there any ideas that may come by as a proposal to vote in the near future? That's a great question.
Yeah, there are. So there are several partners that want to have vaults on the animal farm. We're going to put any potential partnerships up for a proposal, and there will be a vote on that. I would say that's the main thing on the table for proposals right now, right? Now, of course, the reason why you haven't seen any proposals is because we've been paused for the past month and a half working on piggy bank. If we had not been focused on that, we would have already had several partnerships, up for vote with proposals on the animal farm. So that is the governance protocol is a major part of Animal Farm. The owners of Animal Farm are the people in the pig pen, and any kind of major addition to the Animal Farm will be up for vote, and it will be up for vote based on these proposals. I should also say that or on the Animal Farm, there is a way that you can fill out an application. And this application is if you are either a developer that wants to work for us, you're a potential partner that wants to partner with us. You can also utilize this submission mechanism to submit proposals that you would like to see go up for vote. The Animal Farm is partnership vaults. So, like as I said, any major addition to the Animal Farm will require a vote from those in the pig pen, and filtering of potential partners as well to ensure that they're high quality, their logic makes sense, and it all fits into place. And assuming all of those things fit into place, which there are several development teams that have created projects that they want to partner and have vaults on the Animal Farm that are quality, that do meet the requirements. So this is something that all right, so in the next month, there are two major things that I want to see happen for Animal Farm and for Drip, right? For Drip, I want to see the major new UI update push, right? That's done, right? The things that we need to do for that are collect testimonials, because our new UI model is, I think, the best UI in DeFi. And the reason why I would say our new UI that we're going to push is the best model in DeFi is because we didn't look to DeFi to decide what our template would be. Right? We looked towards traditional markets, specifically major retail investment banks, and we looked at what they're doing to get users to their site and what they're doing to get users to use their products once they're on their site. And these major retail investment banks are investing billions of dollars every year in customer research and customer analytics to determine what changes they can make to their front end, their website, to get more users to their site and get them to use the products once they get to their site. And this has a lot to do with search engine optimization. And this has a lot to do with making that major first impression when someone first lands on that site. And when someone lands on the site, you want to get them with that first visit. Because if you can get them with that first visit, the probability that they'll be a long-term customer in your protocol goes way, way, way up. So we looked at a ton of various investment bank models they're using. We decided to go with essentially the model that Charles Schwab uses. And they have their partners right on the front page. They have their testimonials right on the front page. They make it very clean and easy to use their different products, very clean explanations of all of their products on the site. It looks very clean. And I've posted a preview of what our site looks like. They put a lot of work into search engine optimization. And a lot of what goes into search engine optimization has to do with the way your website is structured, right? Having certain keywords in your titles, having specific websites that are considered high value websites linked on your site, have as many large outsourcing links on your site, and various other you could call them tricks or you could call them strategies that are used in the development of a front end to ensure that you're hitting the top of all the search lists. So right now, with essentially no search engine optimization, because we essentially used a template which is popular in DeFi to set up our front end, we're listing very high on Google. If you type drip on Google, we're listing pretty high. But there's no reason why we shouldn't be listed number one. And I don't want to just be listed number one when someone types drip. I want to be listed at the top when someone types crypto, when someone types Bitcoin, when someone types, DeFi. I want to be at the top. So we put a ton of work. And not only did we do this in-house, I hired a development team that specifically builds websites for these major multinational companies. And that's their main job, is building websites, search engine optimization, and maintaining websites for major investment banks. So I spent a lot of time, researching, figure out who is building these websites, and how can I hire them, essentially. And we did. We hired them. I already paid for the work to be done. The work is done. The website is built. The only thing that we need to do is make the improvements that I want to make to our team airdropping system and implement team competitions, which is something I've wanted to do since launch, but it required a major front end update to do that. And since I wasn't really happy with our front end anyways, I didn't feel it projects the kind of value that we're that we're providing in our contracts, I wanted to do it all at once, right? I wanted to wait until we could do a major UI update, redo the whole UI, and since it requires redoing the UI to make a change to the way that the team infrastructure works, I wanted to handle it all at once. So the website is built. What we need to do is collect as many testimonials as possible. That way we can filter the best ones, right? And we'll have all of them up there, but we want to have the best ones up the front page, of course. And we, hold on a second, let me just shut my door. I just had someone come to my house. Not only are we updating, so all right, so where I was collecting the testimonials. So we need to collect as many testimonials as we can, and we already have CryptoWorks, who is a team leader on Drip, collecting testimonials, and he's been collecting them for the past, say, 3 or 4 months. But we're going to put more focus on that over this next month. So when we go live, the plan is to push this UI next month. We'll have all the testimonials ready on the site. We need to and we need to make the adjustments that we want to make to the team system. So that's ready to go for the new UI as well. And the changes we're making to the team system have nothing to do with the structure of your team. So this is the structure of everybody's team is immutable. That's handled by the smart contracts, right? So all that's immutable, none of that changes. What's going to change is the efficiency of airdropping. So instead of having to do a million different clicks and making it, it's kind of a pain in the butt plus a little confusing to use the team airdrop system, we're going to make it way more simple and way more efficient. So you just click a couple buttons and it does the airdrop to the people you want to airdrop on your team, given the filters that you set. We're also going to implement team competitions. And this is something that I've wanted to do since day one. And we baked in the ability to do it since day one. But as I said, it required an update to the front end to be able to do it. And if we were going to update the website, the front end, I wanted to do the full update. So this is our opportunity now to implement these things that I've wanted to do since day one. Weekly competitions where we set a goal, and the goal will be, for example, whoever does the most direct referrals that month, or whoever does the most referrals as a whole, whoever grows their team as a whole that month, or whatever team does the most capital deposits that month, or whatever team is the most net positive that month, whatever team does the most posts on a given social media using this given hashtag this month, etc., etc. And these are goals that help build up the whole platform and benefit everybody. And the winner of these competitions now get airdrop drip from the dev wallet to the team leader, and the team leader then gets to decide how he wants to airdrop these rewards to his team. And I will suggest that they airdrop it in a way that benefits the people that help win that competition. So, for example, if the competition is whoever does the most direct referrals that week, before the competition starts, a team leader could say, hey, we're going to try to win this thing. We have the ability to win it. So what we're going to do is, if we win, whoever does at least 3 direct referrals will get their share of the reward if we win, of the prize. And this prize is not coming from an inflation of drip, right? It's paying for itself because it's coming from drip that is going to the dev wallet, which currently is being sent to the vault and previously was being sent to a burn address. So I initially was setting it to a burn address because I just wanted to give surety to the investor base that there isn't some huge pile of drip just accumulating that, someone could interact with or put onto the market, whatever. So I was just sending it all to a burn address. And then I gave it a bit of thought and determined that, it's a bit of a waste to be sending it to a burn address where we could send it to the vault, and that would just allow even more sustainability as far as our dividend model. So then I started sending it to the vault. And in the future, when we have these team competitions, some of it will be sent to the vault, and some of it will be used as prizes for these team competitions. Right? So these are major, exciting updates that are coming to Drip within the next month, right? So I don't think people realize how bullish and how important it is to have a high-end UI, because it's not just about your ability as a regular Drip user to interact with the platform. Yes, it's nicer. It'll be more efficient. It'll be smoother. It'll be easier to use. It'll be better to use. It'll be nicer to look at. But what's really important is it will make us appear higher on lists when people are searching DeFi, when people are searching crypto. And also, it will help hook in those new users when they make that initial visit to the website, and it will really bump up our numbers as far as the turnover, people visiting the site and actually engaging them when they visit the site. So that's huge. We have a ton of other things going on with Drip, right? As far as multiple smaller dev teams building projects for Drip that utilize Drip, that buy Drip, send Drip to the tax vault, use Drip for NFT sales. One of these platforms has deals with multiple, over a dozen celebrities. Last time I checked, which was about a month ago, because I've been hyper-focused on Piggy Bank, selling NFTs in Drip. Then these Drip gets sent to the vault, and they're just starting to really break through and really start to establish these deals. But there's a ton on the table now as far as securing celebrity deals for both NFTs and promotion. Things that were on the table, right, a month ago, but got put on the sidelines so I could hyper-focus on Piggy Bank, are now back on the table. So this is massive, right? Now, there's a bunch of other things that I want to talk to, but let me get to a few more of these questions here. It looks similar to ones in the Drip Garden. We've seen decay in the price of seeds in the garden. Can we expect this decay in truffles? The answer to this is that in this case, truffles, which are seeds in Drip Garden, similar, not exactly the same, but the same, are purposely decaying in value, if that's what you want to call it, right? That's not the word I would use, but they are purposely being diluted because this is the mechanism that ensures that this is one of the mechanisms that ensures that if you are compounding, you will, and this is all relative to other users in the protocol. So if you are compounding at a rate that is greater than the average user in the protocol, you will keep your ROI at around 3%. Now, and this is because you're taking these truffles or seeds that are accumulating buying piglets with them, which in turn allows you to create a greater volume of seeds or a greater volume of truffles. And this ensures that you're able to stay ahead of the decay curve, if that's what you want to call it, or the dilution curve, if that's what you want to call it. And if you're staying ahead of this curve, then you're going to keep your ROI at around 3%. And this creates a value transfer for people that are just draining the system to people that are compounding in the system. And this is a very important mechanism in the protocol, which ensures that it does not matter when you enter either the piggy bank or the drip garden as far as what your ROI is in the protocol. Okay? So whether you enter in 2 months from now or yesterday, you can make up to 3% ROI on this protocol if you are frequently compounding. What the bonus or benefit is to getting in early is that time becomes a very powerful lever that you can use to your advantage to accumulate your share of the liquidity pool, essentially on the contract, and your ability to earn in the system. So the sooner you buy into the protocol, the more you can let compound interest work in your favor. But if you do not continue to compound in the protocol, eventually your ROI will start to reduce. And this is largely due to 2 mechanics. One mechanic, which essentially limits the amount that you can ROI based on your balance, and the mechanic that you spoke to here, which is the constant dilution of the truffle supply, which creates a value transfer from those who are just leeching the protocol to those who are compounding frequently. Now, the piggy bank puts a much larger emphasis on it with its time locking bonus. And this gives even more incentive to getting in early and staying in longer, because you're earning a bonus for agreeing to keep your capital in there for a period of time. The sooner you get in, the sooner that period of time will resolve itself, or you'll hit that goal that you set as far as your time lock relative to other users in the system. And the longer or the more advantage you'll have to be able to earn compound interest relative to the other users of the system. So the great thing about, I would say, especially piggy bank, is what is important are your actions in the system, less so than anything else. If you're compounding more than other users of the protocol, you will be earning more than other users of the protocol, regardless of when you got in. Now, with all things equal, say you're going to be just as active as someone else in the protocol, then yes, the person that got in earlier will have even more advantage because they've been compounding the system earlier. So it's truly a fair protocol, and the reason why I like to call it a game, even though it's not a traditional game, how normal people would look at a game, but for me, the game theory is similar to a game, because the actions that you take are and the result that you see from them are completely relative to the other players or the other participants in the protocol. And that's something that's relatively unique here, and also just extremely fair, right? Because it's not like other systems where you deposit and you might deposit 6 months from now, and because you deposited 6 months after someone, you don't have the ability to earn an ROI anymore. Your ability to earn an ROI is very small. In our case, you can deposit 6 months from now, and as long as you're active in the protocol, you can earn just as much as someone that deposited yesterday, for example. So, all right, I got another question here. And I should also say that this element is not relative at all to the price of pigs, or it's what it's determining is your percent ROI of your deposit relative to other players in the protocol and the capital in the contract itself. So, okay, let me go to one of the other tweets, see if I can get some more questions here. Okay, so someone is saying they used their referral code of the YouTuber and it didn't work. Any chance we could resolve this issue, right? So, here's the thing. It did work, right? When you just can't immediately withdraw referral bonuses. So, here's how it works. And I spoke about this a bit yesterday, but I want to be even more clear, because I think I could have been a little bit more clear about it when I spoke to this yesterday. When you refer somebody, this referral gets credited to you in the form of truffles on your zero stake, which means the initial stake. It gets credited to you in your truffles balance. You can only withdraw from your truffles balance 5x your deposit. So you can only withdraw at max 5x your current deposit. And of course, as you compound, as you earn referral bonuses, as you earn gifts, as you earn in the system, your deposit increases. So as long as you're active in the protocol, you never have to hit this limit. It's more of a sustainability security mechanism, similar to the max payout in drip. But when you get credited with these truffles, if you do not already have a stake, but someone used your referral link, which is something that's going to be very rare, right? This is a very rare edge case that really would only happen if, say, a YouTuber was sharing their link before the site went live, and then people just beat them to the punch using their referral link and depositing. We have been approached before by people who say that, we found this or we found that, and we're willing to accept payment for this or that. And every single time, it's been them not understanding the protocol. It, of course, was a nothing burger. Why time lock? Okay. Why you would time lock? All right, so let me just ask this question, reiterate it. So, if you could earn up to 3% a day, if you could earn up to 3% a day, up to 5x your deposit, why time lock? You would time lock because you can earn a significant, you could earn a significant bonus on your deposit, right, on your starting principal for time locking, and then earn compound interest on this starting initial capital. So if you're earning 3% compound interest, right, that's very powerful. And if you can increase your starting capital that you're able to earn 3% compound interest on, it makes a huge difference, right? And you see this on the percentages in the dashboard that it shows you if you decide to time block. And we're talking huge, right? We're talking about thousands of percents difference, right? Tens of multiples difference for time blocking. And if you already plan on keeping your capital in there for a period of time without claiming, because you want to earn compound interest, say your plan is, oh, well, I want to put my principal in here, compound for the next year, really grow up my share, or the next 6 months, the next month, whatever your time frame is, really compound in this period of time to really build up my position, and then structure some sort of strategy where I'm compounding every 3 times and claiming every 4th time or something like this. Then during that month or that year or that 5-year period, where you already had the plan that you were going to be compounding your principal, you could just time lock it, right? You could just make the agreement that you will do that and now earn thousands of percentages more in ROI. And making this commitment to withstand from claiming and only compounding for a period of time also helps the sustainability of the protocol. So it plays 2 roles, right? It results in a more sustainable protocol plus higher ROI to those who make this commitment. And where is this higher ROI coming from? It's not coming from inflation. It's coming from a value transfer from those who are just leeching the system and not making this commitment. So there is a major value transfer here that is being powered by compound interest, and this value transfer is being made from those who are not making time commitments to those who are making time commitments. So this is why you would do this. The animal farm, I haven't tapped into that capital at all, and that's millions of dollars, right? I wanted to get past the launch phase and the phase where we have that first major cycle of people that are coming in just for the quick flip and really, purge those weak hands before I start putting these millions of dollars that we're earning in collateral rehypothecation to work. And where I see it best being put to work is in the pig pen. Because when you already have a liquidity pool of $30 million in pigs, for example, buybacks do work, and we will do some buybacks, but there's only so much impact you can have when you're buying into such a deep liquidity pool. But you can create the same value for pigs and get even more bang for your buck by taking that BUSD and putting it into the pig pen and now paying it out in the form of BUSD to people who are agreeing to put aside the pigs that they're earning for a share ownership of the developer fees or deposit fees, whatever you want to call them, instead of selling them on the market. So there's a cash flow that is making billions of dollars that we have yet to put to work. There's the There's the flexibility of the dog tax, which is at the lowest setting right now, which we have the ability to adjust. And then there's the partnership vaults and other development that are in the process right now of being ready to be put to launch, which give more use cases, more utility to the PIG token and locking it up and creating additional cash flows for the PIG token, including into the PIG pen. So the PIG pen, as someone in the PIG pen, you represent an owner of the platform. And owners of the platform, owners of any kind of company or major project, they don't expect to, 100x their capital in the first week and then pump and dump it, right? We're in this for the long term, and the protocol is designed to pay out over the long term, with payouts increasing the longer you stay in. Almost like a developer or team vesting option, where you're getting paid your share profit from the platform through a type of time-weighting vested model, essentially. And this is to ensure that people aren't just buying the PIG token for a quick pump and dump, and the people that are getting it are in it for the long term. And if you do want a shorter term play on it, that's what the piggy bank is for. But still, even the piggy bank has this time locking mechanism to ensure that the people who are benefiting the most from that are those who have a longer term perspective on it. But you still do have the shorter term play on it if that's what you choose to do. So the piggy bank is massive for the platform, and it was not operational long enough to see that power play out into the price of pigs. And in fact, due to the unexpected kind of bump in the road, we didn't see the true power of the piggy bank have its effect on the price of pigs. But we will on Thursday, and in the months following Thursday, when the piggy bank is operating as designed, fully functional, providing that value and really just killing it, because I know it will, because it has that market fit and it's filling that demand that we know people want. So it's what I hold personally. When I initially did the drip raise, I had 2 people reach out to me and ask me if I could they were on vacation, and they asked me, hey, I want to get into the pre-sale. Can you do me a favor and buy me a pre-sale spot? And I did that for 2 people. So those 2 people, for whatever reason, probably they were going to flake in the first place, and that's why they just weren't there on time. But for whatever reason, they never came and claimed those drip for me. So one of those pre-sale allocations, I distributed.
RIP to those guys.
Yeah, I know. Man, they're kicking themselves. But so one of those allocations, I gave very early on to the core teams, the major teams that first established themselves in drip, right? Guys like Black Sheep, Bartertown, Stunner, Crypto Winner Circle, Moonshot Hunters, trying to think of 3D Crypto, I think maybe Odds Group, trying to think if there was anyone else. But anyways, I took one of those pre-sale allocations, and I...
Right? Yeah, Dog Pound.
Dog Pound, yep, Thomas, Dog Pound. And I distributed those to those team leaders who then distributed them to the community. The other one, the other allocation that I got, I think I might have sold some of them OTC to a VC owner that wanted to get invested, that also bought some REIT tokens OTC in the early days, so we could do some very cool thing where we had essentially ETH payouts to top. We had ETH payouts to the top liquidity providers of REIT, right? And we did this through a type of OTC sale. But this is like a long time ago, like 2 years ago. But anyways, this VC owner, he holds 100% of those REIT to this day. So he bought those REIT OTC. He's held them for 2 years. Didn't touch them. And he's the type of guy that as long as he continues to see progress, he will continue to hold those tokens. And he's $1,000 of my own token. And then I realized I'm never going to sell this thing. Why am I buying it? I'm essentially just donating a bunch of capital to the liquidity pool that I'm never going to access again. And I have pretty strong feelings about that because I feel like I have essentially insider information that would give me an unfair advantage. And sure, there aren't exactly insider trading laws in DeFi, but I feel like markets have their own mechanisms that don't prevent insider trading, but discourage it. And you know, it discourages it through regular market dynamics. For example, if I was to buy a bunch of drip every time before I make some big announcement, then I make the announcement, it cause all kinds of excitement, the price of drip goes up, and then I sell, people are going to eventually say, hey, something's going up here. Something's going on here. Every time before he makes an announcement, the price, does a huge pump, and then the same address, or whatever, it doesn't even have to be the same address, but you see what I'm saying. The price goes way up. Only him or some insider would know that this is going to happen, and then they sell it right after the announcement is made. People would eventually catch on to this, and these market dynamics should, in a fair market, prevent insider trading. If you have a knowledgeable investor base and, there isn't a greater fool being created every day and all these things, which there are, and unfortunately a lot of investor bases are not educated, so you still have people running these kinds of games on their community. But that's where morals kick in, where I think people that have been following my work for a long time know that I take my moral obligations seriously. And I believe that in the big picture, this benefits myself as well. And I'm going to make more capital and, more return on my investment. When I say investment, I mean the resources and time that I'm putting into these protocols. I'll make more bang for my buck, being a moral actor and doing it the right way. So, launch Drip as a true community project. Now, there's a lot of other projects out there where they're taking huge dev fees, and as soon as they make a mistake, or as soon as attention starts dying down, or they have that big pump and dump, now all of a sudden they want to say it's a community project, right? Drip has been a community project from day one, and we can say that confidently because we're not taking some major dev fee on it. We're taking no dev fee on it. And it's really been a massive community effort, which is something that I feel that people appreciate. Right? Now, it says, will you be expanding to another network? Right? So, yes and no. I have no interest in forking or cloning Drip, for example, or any of my other tokens, and relaunching a version of them on another network. That could bring on some new investors, but what it's going to do more than anything is spread out your liquidity and cause more opportunities for arbitrage traders and other third parties to drain capital without putting any without doing any kind of positive action for the system. Essentially, it gives a foothold for rent seekers, and we never want to do that. Also, when you spread liquidity thin, you transactions on any one network have more of an impact, and you have less stability. And drip, stability for drip is important. And of course, like all DeFi projects, it's going to be volatile. But drip has been insanely stable relative to every single one of our competitors, right? So there's that. How I would like to, you could call it expand, but how I would like to get exposure is, I think, the better word, to other networks is through developing a bridge of our own that allows people to spend, Matic, to spend ETH, to spend Solana, and to spend these other main network tokens or coins on our protocol, on our network. And this is something that we have the ability to do. I have the, of course, technical expertise and the team to be able to do this. We have the community to be able to build up the collateral needed to do secure bridging. And this is something that I am very, very, very much looking forward to doing, right? My thing is, I don't want to just build another bridge. If I build a bridge, I want it to be innovative. I want it to be better than all the other bridges. And I have ideas to do that, such as building a privacy bridge that allows people to send capital cross-chain without ever exposing to people monitoring that bridge where the capital is coming from, where it's going, how much capital is being sent, where the capital is being received on the other side, what network it's going to. I know how to develop something like this, and it doesn't exist in the space. And this is something that I'm very interested in doing, and that kind of kills multiple birds with one stone, because the bridge itself has its own intrinsic value in the form of having a anonymity set and a privacy element. But also, it's part of the drip protocol and allows people to onboard from other networks onto our protocols, drip and Animal Farm. And also, those who contribute to this bridge in the form of collateral can earn yield from it because they're paid to, one, provide collateral, and two, provide a greater anonymity set, because the more individual users and the more capital are providing collateral to the privacy bridge will allow for a greater anonymity set, or a greater you call it a greater amount of anonymity on an exchange. Well, a major Chinese exchange did list dogs and pigs. They either used the credit contract or they didn't. I'm not sure. If they did use the credit contract, that means the two pigs will be tradable on their exchange. If they didn't, then that means a ton of pigs were just taken out of circulation, which is very bullish for V2 pigs. So it's a win-win either way we go there. Now, I have no interest on listing on any centralized exchange unless it's one of the major exchanges, only because that will give us a lot more exposure. I tend to want to stay off centralized exchanges because centralized exchanges allow you to sidestep the some of the mechanisms of the protocol itself. For example, or I should say, because you're not actually trading the token itself, you're not actually moving the token itself. You're dealing with some derivative contract. So there's positive and negatives to listing on a SEX, which is why I would only be interested in listing on one of the major ones. You know, Binance, KuCoin, Kraken, FCX. FTX. That's about it. And I can say that we've had Coinbase, right, of all people, reach out to us. And Coinbase is interested in us utilizing their Coinbase wallet. And we've been in some negotiations with them. These are some of the negotiations we were in before I had to hyper-focus on Piggy Bank, where we were using that as a lever to try to get more exposure to the Coinbase platform. So these things are... there's negative and positives, and there's some benefit to it, and we are looking to exploit it in ways that will give us this benefit, but it's something you have to be mindful about. All right, so another question here. Someone's asking about my take on the price of drip. So I don't want to give any kind of price predictions, but I would say that drip right now is in a great place because drip has a max payout that ensures that you can only earn up to 365% of your balance. Now, what this means is if you continue to deposit and you continue to compound, you can increase your balance, which increases your ability to continue to earn on it. But those who have not been active, compounding, referring, doing other positive actions, and have only been draining the system, which there are some fair share of people doing that, we are coming up on that year mark, or we are hitting the year mark. We're past the year mark. I would have to look at the exact dates when we launched, but we're right there at that year mark. And all those people that bought at launch and bought in pre-sale only to stake and then trade on a daily basis will be hitting their max payout and will no longer be able to trade the system. And we are just hitting that mark where that starts to play out and starts to become a reality. Now, we also have some people that because they had very, very large teams, right? They hit the max payout cap, which is 100,000 drip. And some of these people, right, there's like 2 or 3 of them, are hitting their max payout as well. And these are people that are trading a lot of capital from the system. And every day, one of them or multiple of them are hitting their max payout, no longer able to trade the protocol. When you combine this with the fact that, we're about to update the UI, push team competitions, have partnerships, we have all these other smaller developers building to utilize Drip. We are really prepared have some major moves in drip. And you see right now, the whole market is down, right? So these markets have cycles. You tend to see the cycles play out a bit harder in DeFi because they're newer assets or they're a bit less stable, right? And drip's correction is largely a correction with the rest of the market, which is amazing because we're paying out 1% compound interest while moving basically with the rest of the market. So that, when you consider what we're paying out in daily compound interest, we're outperforming everything. And now we're starting to hit these max payouts to some of these major whales and early investors, which just means less sell pressure and more opportunities for these partnerships and new developments that we're pushing to have that much of a greater impact on the price. So with the network we've been doing, everything, the way that it's lining up right now, I've never been more bullish on drip. And you also mentioned the drip garden. The drip garden, I should say, was always marketed as a higher risk play on drip. And this is because you're essentially leveraging your exposure to drip. So if the price of drip is doing well, you're going to see this impact leverage in contracts like Drip Garden. So I would say if you are bullish about what is coming up with drip, then you should be even more so bullish with Drip Garden. But the issue is, what kind of risk profile do you want? Now, I would say the faucet is essentially the lowest risk staking profile. Then probably the Animal Farm Drip BUSD pool, and then probably Drip Garden. And I would say some of this overlays into piggy bank as well, but elements such as the time locking mechanics in piggy bank reduce some of this risk profile and also provides utility that the Drip Garden doesn't have, making it, I think, that much more viable, right? But, of course, you're not getting high leverage drip exposure there. You're getting pig exposure there. So there are two different contracts with two different utilities and providing two different value cases.
Pigs V1 to Pigs V2 migration, like those people who missed that opportunity, what do you say to those people who missed the migration?
Okay, what I would say is we made, I don't know, maybe 24 posts about it, had on both the call channels, on Twitter, on YouTube. It's been pinned in all of the Telegram groups, not even just the Animal Farm Telegram group, but the Drip Telegram group, on Bartertown, on every single platform that we get exposure on and that our investors interact with. It's been pinned and repeated and blasted out into the public for months. And also